Hi, my name is Dr. Cara Burns and I'm an Adjunct Research Fellow at the Hopkins Centre, Griffith University. And this year, I was the organiser of the Hopkins Centre Citizen Challenge. In my job at Queensland Health and in my research, I specialise in engaging and empowering citizens in digital health products and services. Through the Hopkins Centre Citizen Challenge, people with disabilities are able to co-create with entrepreneurs new solutions to their challenges. The Hopkins Centre Citizen Challenge was a three-part program where we were able to pivot existing offerings in the market to meet the needs of people with disabilities. This year, the challenge we focused on was how might we optimise technology to provide quality online rehabilitation services to promote customer choice and independence for our citizens.
Hi, my name's Lindsay Knight. I've got a spinal cord injury. I acquired that 27 years ago in a swimming accident on the last day of grade 12. Since then I've been able to sustain full-time employment, been travelling, been able to live an independent life. I do rely on support workers to be able to help me out during the day. Without them, my life wouldn't be sustainable. Over the past several months due to COVID, my support services have changed, and that's across the board for everyone with a disability. We're having to go from being in contact with support workers, but also doctors and health professionals with regards to exercise physiology. For me, that's ranged from having phone calls with my GP down to having a Zoom meeting with my EP over the back deck with my support worker, mounting the phone so that we're able to do an exercise program and be able to make that challenge happen. We just improvise, adapt and overcome and get around it. So some of the challenges I have and I've always faced is having half a dozen support workers, and that can range through having that through my care agency and then having to manage that with their routine. But mine is normally a standard set roster, and in that we know what's happening, but there are times where circumstances change, and then over COVID you've got to be fluid in your decisions and being able to adapt to that when someone is unable to come, and so being able to work with the care agency and being able to work with them when they're working remotely from home as well. So there's always different challenges in using technology to be able to make that happen. So a goal would be to be able to have an app that would be user-friendly across the board for a range of people with disabilities. That could be someone with limited hand function, being able to have something that is user-friendly for someone with a vision impairment, a hearing impairment, making that easy to use for support workers, but also providing confidentiality across the board so that anyone who has access to that client's information can only see that for a small time frame, or you're able to share that through the relevant documentation or via telehealth to someone. As part of my personal support care, my personal life work, I have 2,000 hours of support that I need to manage, and that is also managed through an organisation that has over 500 clients. They need to support them on high needs and low care. Plus I have my own exercise physiology appointments, casual volunteering as well, and my personal life and family members I need to see. So that's quite a lot to involve in one person individual. So an organisation to have an app that would work would be awesome.
My name is Bill Peacock and I'm a survivor of polio. I became disabled at the age of 4 years of age and spent my entire life with a disability. In my late 50s I ended up in a wheelchair full-time because of disability, then had an accident causing me some spinal injuries to the lower part of my spine and across my shoulders. I have spent my life being educated to support people with a disability in the sectors of disability around Australia. In the last 12 months I've had many difficulties trying to manage my aged care environment with the disability through telehealth and some of the systems that we have to have without facing somebody face to face. Going on to a Zoom meeting or to a telehealth meeting can become extremely difficult when somebody is not there to measure you for your new wheelchair, to be able to give you an opportunity to select the things that you need and to carry out your life with independence. Often when you're talking to a medical practitioner or to an allied healthcare professional, they don't always have the opportunity to know your background, your story, or your life. Often the challenges that I face personally, and most of the people that I speak with as an advocate, is that we don't often have the opportunity to be able to cancel an appointment and remake an appointment. Sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where a carer will not turn up on time, the carer is not available to you at a specific time. I'm very fortunate that I have a full-time carer, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And his role is often to make sure that I am being cared for in the way that I need to be. So he has the same challenges to face as well. We need often to be able to make 5 phone calls to get 1 appointment satisfied. So we tend to work closely together between carer and the person being cared for to make sure that we can live a strategic day. And sometimes that day is very difficult because we are not being met with the appointments that we need to, because a carer is running late, a shower is not going to be possible, and then we have a doctor's appointment to meet at the same time. Currently there is over $1.5 billion of unspent funds in the my aged care sector, and that is important to be spent independently by the client.
Hi, my name is Beth. I'm one of the physios with the Spinal Outreach team. SPOT is a statewide service with Metro South in the Division of Rehab for people with a spinal cord injury. We're multidisciplinary with physios, OTs, social workers, nurses, community registrar and our researchers. So some of the benefits of telehealth is it provides us the opportunity to see and meet with our client face to face without maybe being in their environment, to help problem solve in that initial instance, whatever the clinical problem is that the person has come to our service about. The challenges with telehealth or a video visit can be just sometimes the technology fails, and that's the same with any of the platforms that we've had experience with, but often it works really, really well. I think also it's everybody having confidence to be able to feel that the visit's actually going to deliver, and that's from the health professional's point of view as well as from the client's point of view. Other challenges we've had would be that we can't actually see what we want to see. We can't maybe zoom out or zoom in if our client doesn't have someone with them that can help work the technology. So planning what's going to happen on that video visit we've found is really important, and that can really overcome some of those challenges and make the visit successful. I understand about the not being able to touch and feel and measure, trial things quite the same, but during COVID we really had no option but to try and problem solve, and we're trying to roll with all of the improvements that are out there both within the public and the private sector with telehealth and video visiting to be able to make this work for the long term.
We've got approximately 1,800 people with spinal cord injury that are either members or clients of our organisation, and they receive services that are allied health, personal care, peer support, employment support, and having an app that could assist them to be able to organise that would be just fantastic. And particularly if it's physically accessible for people, because there's so many things that make that people can be limited with if they've got hand function that's compromised.
Hi everyone, my name is Marley Brown and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Compago. At Compago we've been specialising in assistive technologies, particularly in the aged care sector, for the last 5 years. But today I'm here to represent the GoGo Innovators. The GoGo Innovators is a crack team of entrepreneurs which were put together by the Hopkins Centre with support of Griffith University and Compago. Now we were tasked with solving a pretty big problem. How do we optimise technology to provide quality online rehabilitation services while promoting customer choice and independence for those that are receiving care? Now before we dive into the solution, let's first dig a little bit deeper into that problem. So there's over 400,000 people receiving NDIS support here in Australia, with 150,000 who have just recently joined and have had their first care experience. So this is a platform which is growing, and it's a large population worldwide too, with over 100 million people. Now, one of the key people that we've been speaking to here as a part of this program is Lindsay Knott. And Lindsay Knott, like thousands of others here in Australia, has suffered a spinal cord injury, and as such has had to overcome multiple challenges throughout his life. So the solution that we've been working on here with the GoGo innovators, with Bill and Lindsay and the rest of the team, is how do we develop a system which enables community engagement, seamless video consultations, improves health and well-being for those that are using it, and improves operational efficiencies for the organisations that supply and deliver this care. The GoGo innovators will develop a one-stop shop for NDIS providers and recipients to be able to not only receive and deliver care, recipients will be able to jump online, see what activities are happening within their local area, book those activities, and through seamless connections, have that billed directly from their care packages. The person who's set up that activity will be able to organise the appropriate transport and delivery to make sure that people are attending those physical activities safely. The individual will also be able to jump on the virtual community where they can connect with others through our digital mobility window to discuss world activities and things that they're interested in. They'll also be able to use this window as a one-touch telehealth solution, so they can communicate with their GP as well as their carers. Now, following the delivery of these services and touch points, the individuals will be able to rate their carers and the care experience with one touch, directly following any activity. Now, this will enable those high-performing organisations to be rewarded, as they'll be moving up in the scale and receiving a higher Net Promoter Score. Now, there's vast benefits for the broader community as well, through increased activity and the opportunity for not-for-profits and smaller organisations to market these activities within the platform as well, as a low-cost alternative. Through tracking performance, high-performing organisations will be rewarded, and efficiencies will be found through lower administration costs for those who are wanting to receive care and those that are delivering it as well, ensuring that more funding goes directly to the care recipient and isn't held up through administrative burdens. Now, it's essential that a platform like this has seamless integration. So utilising Compago's middleware technology, we'd be able to integrate a system like this with existing staff management and rostering platforms. So all you'd have to do is turn on this platform. The data would automatically be generated from any client within your database. And also, through connections with other community organisations, they'd be able to use this as a platform to broadcast content that they've developed locally without having to go through expensive media channels. Now, a platform like this really has limitless possibilities. We can integrate this with wearables so that individuals have their vital statistics tracked. We can also integrate it with smart home technology so that through this tablet, just by clapping their hands or even winking, they can turn on the lights, open the door, and once you start integrating robotics technology, they can order a drink through the same means without having to organise their carers. So the ask of you all is, this is a system that's really not that unachievable. We've built a vast majority of this already. We're utilising it in the aged care sector. So what we're looking for at Compago is partners in the NDIS space who'd be interested in trialling this technology and helping us to develop it out further to further meet the needs of this growing demographic. Thank you.
My name is Justin. I am a citizen ambassador at HabITec and at the Hopkins Centre. I'd like to say thank you and congratulations to the Hopkins Centre and the Citizen Challenge team for all their work and allowing me to be a part of the Citizen Challenge Pivotathon project. It's been interesting and very informative for me to see the Citizen Challenge project development from behind the scenes, as well as all the organisation and planning required. The use of Microsoft Teams to meet and communicate has been quite accessible for me to participate from home, which has been a big relief due to the COVID risk. Here are a few points of why I think the Citizen Challenge Pivot-a-thon format can be effective in playing a significant part in achieving the goals of inclusive co-design and sustainable solutions that HabITec has set out to achieve. It allows developers to better understand and design around the potential obstacles faced by end users, while also allowing end users to see the possible technological or budgetary constraints a developer might face. This, combined with the experience and expertise of the clinicians, creates an environment which encourages empathy between all parties, resulting in more useful and effectively designed assistive technology. The constant and open live feedback allows potentially vital changes to be made during the important design stages, rather than after the product has been approved, advertised, and put out on the market, only to be left aside by the target end user due to some easily overlooked design flaws. By having the three main stakeholder groups work together cohesively in a comfortable environment, while also under the pressure of having a limited time frame, helps to accelerate the development process in a more engaging and motivational manner, which makes it feel more like fun than work, resulting in an overall more enjoyable experience for all parties involved. I also think that in future, when the project grows and involves multiple teams, engagement and motivation can further be boosted by introducing and providing some friendly competition between the teams, and also a prize incentive to be awarded to the most effective solutions. Thank you.